Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for many updates here, including Bitcoins, and of course we're gonna see some altcoins, including SUI, Render, FET, and Injective. A quick updates to see what happened today. So starting with Bitcoin here, where we are looking at this scenario, which we saw of course in the daily, where we have a 1, 2, 3, probably of course, and a wave 4 unfolding, and we mentioned in the daily, if the price takes the 108k 400, this impulse bearish is invalidated, meaning one scenario towards the downside is outside right now, giving much higher possibility, of course, for higher prices. Now, the only scenario left, of course, for, of course, bearish, and I would say it is a short-term bearish, which is, of course, a probable triangle here, A, B, C, where the wave C still can unfold, of course, after a zigzag extended wave C, of course, even if we took here the invalidation of the bearish is this, it can be of course a corrective wave as ABC toward the downside, formation of a triangle. Don't forget that a triangle meaning bullish at the end, of course, and still looking for higher. However, to mention only that we might still have one more leg toward the downside, and of course finishing this triangle for higher prices. So as we can see right now, the possibilities are getting closer and closer, of course, for the bullish scenario to unfold, whether in a triangle and moving, of course, for a wave 5 later on, because of course we are in a wave 4 over there, which is exactly this scenario that we have. Exactly, I would like to show you where we have a wave F4 here after topping for a wave 3. We have an impulse potential wave 3, wave 4. Of course, the wave 4 might extend, of course, to this side, and then, of course, moving toward the upside. Don't forget as well that it is a very possible that we might have also kind of like an ending diagonal, possible scenario where you have a bigger ABC here and then moving toward the upside. So two scenarios which are showing correction that it might happen here. Now it can be, of course, ready to move for higher, but I would say that yeah, it's a little bit hard to see an impulse as a 1-2 here, since you have only three waves zigzag toward the upside. And this is a point why I'm saying, of course, we are corrective still. We might be in a triangle, or we might be, of course, in a zigzag here and then moving towards the upside. It is only because, of course, this three waves zigzag toward the upside. Now, of course, there is a possible scenario, as we mentioned also in the daily today, that we might be, of course, in an ending diagonal toward the upside. If that happened, of course, don't forget that this will open a bearish scenario after it. Of course, we're going to take the all-time high, a new high, and then, of course, finishing here as, of course, a flat in a wave B. So by all means, you would like to see, of course, an ending diagonal that it finishes here an A, B, and a C. This ending diagonal might open, of course, starting from this zigzag, which is a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, to hit perfectly a wave B, of course, in the blue box here, and then start the move towards the downside, of course, for an expanding flat wave C in a major, of course, a correction that we can see it, of course, on the 4 hours chart here, where we have an A, B, and a C toward the downside. So basically, this scenario also exists, of course, and we saw it today in the morning. Besides the triangle that we have, of course, we might have this one, right? We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 toward the upside that it might unfold. So basically, I would say very also potential that it might be, of course, moving for higher here. I would say breaking the triangle, which is, of course, the high here, might be, of course, the confirmation that we might be, of course, in this diagonal finally, of course. But don't forget that we might, even if we break it, it doesn't mean we move directly toward the upside. We're gonna, of course, move back for wave 4 and a 5. So the things are still, of course, in between this triangle and this ending diagonal. But don't forget that the ending diagonal here is gonna unfold again, of course, the wave C toward the downside. So this is basically the updates for Bitcoin. I think that we are getting closer and closer for higher prices for a new all-time high. However, currently I don't see a very bullish trend that it might hit around the 144k, which it might be, of course, very high. I see, of course, the maximum potential here is an ending diagonal, which it might hit around, of course, the 123K as per our daily analysis. If you would like to go back for it, it is a very good explained analysis for every single scenario and how the connections between them is working. So basically, this is for Bitcoin. I would like also to do some altcoins today. I passed by, of course, every altcoin almost, and I made some update on the Discord, of course, because it is easier and of course to keep you updated, guys, especially for the members. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. We have a wave 1 here, and potentially wave 2 might be finished in SUI. So we can say that an A, a B, and a C can be finished already. The wave C here is a potential impulse, or I would say not really impulse. It can be here 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and then having a potential 4 and a 5, which is opening a little bit here, even something bigger like 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So that is possibility here, even that you have a big impulse with a wave 1, 2, and 3, because this is of course 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your wave 3. You got ABC and a clear impulse for wave 5. So we have to be careful that it might be, of course, a wave A, wave B, wave C still can be open, of course, for lower. Yeah, so we're not really ready, despite, of course, the move towards the upside. It is very possible that we still have some bearish scenario that it might unfold for a wave C. However, as an ABC, I would say this is done and ready to move toward the upside. And I think that this is cannot be really an ABC. I think this would be much better if we say it is kind of like a zigzag here, finishing a WX and a Y. So I prefer to say, okay, this is a WX and a Y finished over there, WX, very small X, and a wave Y. And let me explain, because we have kind of like three ways leading diagonal, A, B, and a C toward the downside. I would say this is a wave C. You have the X, and then you have, of course, a zigzag again. So I would say double zigzag here, and you got an X in between. And this will finish, of course, a wave Y. But be careful, again, as I mentioned, that there is also a possibility, very big possibility, and it is scary a little bit here, that we might have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And yeah, as you can see, the wave 4 did not interfere with the zone 1. So if we take here a line taken from this low, you can see there is a gap between the wave 4, right? And also inside this impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, the wave 4 did not took the wave 1, meaning as a perfection, this is a perfect impulse. So we have to be careful with it. That's why, of course, I'm saying, yeah, probably the W, X, and a Y can be much more than enough. Hopefully, of course, I mean, with the altcoin, because if we see lower, yeah, that would be scary scenario for a wave too. As an impulse here, it might be a little bit scary. Now, of course, we have to move for higher anyway for wave B, but it might go comes back, of course, for wave C later. And regarding the timing, yeah, that's a very long time, right? For wave 2, we don't want to see, of course, the timing passing, of course, this possible scenario. So on the 15-minute chart for SUI as well, I would say that this, of course, is looking very impulsive. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Now the wave 5 is unfolding as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you might still have, of course, one more wave toward the upside here to finish a huge impulse, yeah, which is a wave 1, in case we are bullish. So yeah, if we are bullish, I would say, of course, one more leg toward the upside. Now be careful from being an A, B, and a C at the same time. But yeah, internally on the 15-minute chart, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is a wave 5 unfolding extended. Yeah, so this is the idea here with SUI. If SUI shows much higher scenario, or much higher bullish scenario, I would say the wave 2 would be, of course, the judge here. If the wave 2 will rebound towards the upside, taking the high, I would say the bullish scenario is confirmed. Very simple, guys. As always, I mentioned the best confirmation is to have 5 ways up, 3 ways down, continuation, breaking the high, and of course, I would say this is a confirmation of a bullish scenario. Now, if we move for a render, I would say render and Sui are very close to each other. But yeah, one difference with render is that it has a much more visual. I would say like much more clearer, yeah, wave two, where you might have an ABC finished. Okay, the wave C has 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. You can see the wave 3 is already 1, 2, 3. I would say 1, 2, and 3, 4, and a 5, finishing wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Yeah, you have 1, 2 here. Now, again, we have to be careful, of course, as well, that if we have here, of course, a wave A, which is impulsive as well, or leading diagonal, I'm afraid to say, okay, that this is a wave 2, 3, and having wave 4 and a 5. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Also, you can call it even all of it as 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, because even internally here, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is your wave 4 and a 5. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. So as I mentioned, it is very close, of course, to be like Sui, but yeah, we have to be careful with it. Now, yeah, what I see is that this might be, I mean, it can be, the problem is that you can read it in two scenarios. Whether you have a wave A and you have 1, 2, 3, because your wave 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So you have like kind of like a wave C here, okay? And this is your ABC with an extended wave C. But the problem is also that you can read it as well very clearly as an impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. The wave 4 did not take the wave 1, which makes it also very clear impulse. Yeah, so we have to be careful as well with it. Hopefully not, guys, because if this turns into a wave A, yeah, that's not good. That is not good. We're gonna invalidate the impulse that we have already here. So I don't see it as a nice scenario at all. Hopefully not, guys. I'm not in with Sui or Render, but yeah, I mean this is not looking good for our bullish bull run, yeah, that we are looking for in the altcoins. Hopefully not. Hopefully that we continue toward the upside anyway. So we're gonna see. Um, at the end, FET is showing something different. In the FET, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. We have a wave A, B, and a C unfinished. Okay, by all means, wave A, wave B, you would like to finish here and ending diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So wave 5 might still be unfolding towards the downside, taking a wave 2 here. And yeah, in case that we are in a WX and a Y, I would say you finished, of course, a wave 2. What does it mean, WX and Y? Meaning you have something corrective here, which I doubt it. Yeah, it looks a little bit like 5 waves, but it can be, guys. It can be WX and a Y internally. Also not nice because yeah, having a complex structure inside a complex structure WX and a Y is very rare. It can be, but very rare, guys. But I think that this can be a WX and a Y for a wave A, meaning wave B finished, and you might still have one more leg towards the downside. Very clear, I would say, for FET that, of course, it might be much more into an ABC expanding flat, which is still requiring one more leg. And if we take a look also closer on the 15-minute chart inside it, we can see that this is not a nice start for an impulse. Everything is overlapping and it doesn't look really impulsive unless here, of course, which is the wave C, probably after having a complex structure wave A, B, and a C toward the upside. So, yeah, the things are still, of course, showing some weakness, I would say. And I think that the scenarios for lower prices are still open in most of those altcoins that we saw so far. In Injective, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. We have a finished wave 1. We have A, B, and a C, the same almost like FET. So we have an A, a B, and a C, the wave C unfinished. You still would like to see 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 to finish a wave C unless you are in W, X, and a Y. Again, in Injective, it is even clearer, much clearer than FET. It is a very clear impulse, which is hard a little bit to say that it can be something like W, X, and a Y. But even I would say, well, it looks like an impulse, but even it was invalidated later on. So it doesn't matter if we call it even W, X, and a Y, because if you are impulsive, you would like to see, of course, lower, and this did not happen. Um, Despite that, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 internally. Of course, you can read it as well in this way, like a zigzag here. So I was like 1 ABC for wave 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Very clear impulse almost, but you can read it as well like that. You can call this like zigzag, wave X, and a very, of course, a bigger zigzag. Very ugly one, but it can be in several ways. It can be even zigzag somehow like that, and you have another zigzag, and the X is very shallow in between. So there are several ways, of course, to read this as W, X, and a Y. And of course, we have no other option since we took the high again. So therefore, I have to consider 3 waves corrective at the end as a result, and having 3 waves up. And you're looking at least, of course, for 5 waves in case you are in expanding flat since you took the high. Of course, it can be as well zigzag here, and you finish 3 waves, 3 waves by 3 waves to finish, of course, a wave Y. But yeah, I'm not really convinced yet, of course, with it. The problem also on the 15-minute chart here, I don't like just one thing in Injective is the following. I know this looks like very bullish, and everyone will look at it. Wow, this is a beautiful bullish impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, right? But inside your wave 3 here, you have a wave 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's not a finished impulse here, unless of course you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and of course you're looking still at a wave 3. Okay, but also problematic, I would say. Yeah, it's a problematic. It doesn't really look like. I mean, this wave 1, and you have, if you have here a wave 3, let's say, this wave 3 looks the shortest even between the wave 1 and the wave 5. So it doesn't really show some really nice impulse despite the high prices that we are looking at, guys. So be careful. It might be, of course, a trap here. So we have to be careful with it. I'm not convinced yet, of course, with the impulse that I'm looking at. But of course, in case that this continue impulsively, of course, again, I would like to say the wave 2 hitting, of course, around the perfect fib levels, continuation, breaking this high to confirm it. Currently, I cannot confirm. I would say, okay, the potential is higher for bullish, for looking for higher prices. But I would say, okay, I'm gonna wait for this confirmation just to make sure that a wave 2 has unfolded and took the high. And I would say, okay, the bull run has started for altcoins probably, and we're moving for new highs, even for new all-time highs on the all-time history. Yep. So this is a very fast update for Bitcoin and most of the important altcoins. I'm gonna try to repeat this video every day, not the same altcoins. I'm gonna switch every day, of course. So in this way, I keep you updated. I hope that you like this kind of updates, guys. And sorry for the audio. You know, I'm in a holiday right now, and I'm trying, of course, my best. I hope that the audio is not so bad. So, okay, guys, that was it for Bitcoin and altcoins. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.